Well, I'm now on the Amtrak's train number 5, the California Zephyr, from Chicago to Sacramento in California. This is a 2,153-mile journey, taking about 52 hours. We've already crossed the Mississippi River, bringing us from Illinois to Iowa. And already we're late. There's been problems with signaling and a freight train broken down, so we're already an hour late into the journey. But no matter, the accommodation is comfortable. I'm looking forward to an evening meal and pressing on westward, where the Rockies promised for tomorrow. So here we are on the California Zephyr with a few delays already. Los Angeles International Airport in the southwestern part of Los Angeles. It's that kind of place. I've just checked in for the 12-hour flight with Japan Airlines to Kansai International Airport in Osaka in central Honshu, Japan. Now, I will be crossing the international date line, and because I'm traveling west, I lose a whole day. Now, in Jules Verne's famous expedition around the world in 80 days, he went the other day and gained a day, but didn't realise until he got home. So crossing the international date line can wreak havoc with the circumnavigator's diary. Good afternoon and welcome to this Japan Airlines flight 69 from Los Angeles to Osaka in Japan. We have just crossed the international date line just a moment or two ago, which means I am halfway around the world, halfway around my circumnavigation, exactly opposite London, and now I'm heading home. So in around 5.5 hours time we will land at Osaka Kansai International Airport in Japan. From there on it's ferries and trains and surface travel all the way back to London. So having crossed the international date line, it's homeward bound.
Help me somebody. You need to take a good look at yourself and see if you're the kind of person that God wants you to be. It's no big thing, it's a small thing. What people think.
Good morning, I'm on board a Japanese Shinkansen train, otherwise known as the bullet train in the West. This is the top of the railway Shinkan experience. This is a Nozomi train using N700 series rolling stock, so it really is a premier Japanese Shinkansen railway experience. We're travelling at speed now between Shin Kobe and Shin Osaka. The train is running on time, as you'd expect for Japanese Shinkansen, and we'll be arriving in Shin Osaka in a few minutes' time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy that Shinkansen experience. Good afternoon. I'm at Ritsuin Gardens here in Takamatsu on Shikoku Island in western Japan. And this is a typical Japanese garden with exquisitely manicured lawns, neatly clipped trees, a lake, and you can see a water feature behind me, borrowed scenery, and of course a tea house. It's a wonderful place to explore, and somehow it soothes you from the intense heat and humidity that I'm experiencing here in Japan. So I'll explore a little more of the gardens here at Ritsuin in Takamatsu. now outside the Sakko Minato ferry terminal, having just got my ticket for the cruise ferry, the 2-night cruise ferry journey from Sakai to Minato through Donghai and South Korea and on to Vladivostok, where we will arrive on Monday morning, 2 nights later. So wish me luck for a safe and smooth ferry crossing from Japan to Russia. From South Korea, from Donghai, a port town on the east coast of South Korea. We've just got a few hours here right now. Time to enjoy a melon, South Korean melon ice cream. That's delicious. Couple of hours in South Korea, Donghai. Wow, that is nice. And then it's back on the boat onwards from South Korea to Vladivostok, Russia. As you can see behind me is Donghai railway station, if I can just get that into view. So here we are, greetings from Donghai railway station in South Korea. Good afternoon, I'm in Russia's far eastern city of Vladivostok, facing onto the Pacific coast. It's an interesting geographical mix with some European appearances and a reminder of our close proximity to Korea and Japan. One of the things that struck me about coming here is the volume of traffic, or certainly by comparison to travelling to Japan and Korea, and also a reminder of Russia's immense size. For it's here that the Trans Siberian Railway begins or ends, depending on your view, and it's 6 days from here to Moscow by train, or 5,770 odd miles. So in the next few days I'll be boarding train number 1, the Rossiya, from here Vladivostok, heading west to Moscow. So it's greetings from Vladivostok. Good morning, and I'm on board train number 1, Rossiya, the premier Trans-Siberian express train from Vladivostok all the way to Moscow, a journey of around 5,770 odd miles. Now, I've so far got the compartment here on the train to myself, and this little compartment will be my home for the next 62 hours, or around 2,200 miles, as I take this train from Vladivostok via Khabarovsk and Chita all the way to Ulan-Ude. So it's a safe trip, and all aboard the Trans-Siberian Railway. Well, here we are in Chita, right in the heart of Asiatic Russia. Still on train number 1, travelling from Vladivostok to Ulan-Ude, although somehow we lost 2 hours in the night, so we're a couple of hours behind schedule. And I've been on this train now somewhere in the region of about 54 hours, and there's about another 8 or 9 hours to go before we reach Ulan-Ude. It's glorious afternoon summer sunshine here in Chita in the Russian East. Good morning, everybody. It's about 10 to 1 in the morning local time. We think we're approaching Ulan-Ude station. It's hard to be sure, but because this train number 1, Rossiya train, is running about 2 hours late, we think we should be coming into Ulan-Ude in about 10 minutes time at 1 o'clock. It's quite surreal. There's no announcements, there's not much to go on and work out what's happening, but let's see what happens if we really are approaching Ulan-Ude at that time in the morning. It's very surreal, quite a strange experience. blankets on a boat, the good ship Shark boat, here on Lake Baikal in deepest Russian Siberia. The blanket is helping me keep warm. It was rather warm in Irkutsk this morning. It's somewhat cloudier and cooler with fresher conditions here on Lake Baikal. Still, it's a wonderful chance to enjoy one of the world's largest freshwater lakes. 20% of the world's unfrozen fresh water in that lake out there. It's beautiful and serene, a little chilly, but a chance to explore the lake. Of Russian railways is a samovar at the end of each carriage. These dispense hot water so you can make pot noodles, or in my case, enjoy a cup of tea. Whilst travelling on the Trans Siberian Railway, you stop at stations for 20 or 30 minutes several times during the day, and at stations with extended breaks you have an opportunity to get something from the shops, or even have something, buy something from one of the people that sell food from little stalls along the way. So here's an example. I've got myself an evening meal of what looks like a meat patty and some mashed potato, the ubiquitous Russian dumplings, and some bread of some sort, and that's cost a total of 250 rubles, which is about £3. Well, here I am, about 17 kilometers west of Yekaterinburg, on the Asian-European border. You can just about see the line between me. My feet are actually standing over the border, with my left foot in Europe and my right foot in Asia. So it's a remarkable achievement. I've crossed 3 continents now: North America, Asia, and now back into Europe. So here I am, and the big challenge now is to get a bus back into Yekaterinburg. So wish me luck. Here I am, reporting in from the Asia-Europe border. quiet moment of jubilation coming on, for we have just arrived into Moscow Kazansky station, which marks the end of my trip right the way across first the Trans Siberian and then the Trans-Ural railways from Vladivostok to Moscow, a journey of 5,772 miles, give or take. So here we are in Moscow. My journey isn't over yet. After a day in Moscow, there's a train to Paris and then the Eurostar back to London. And best of all, this train has arrived into Moscow Kazansky station at about 3 minutes early. Well, we are just pulling out of Moscow Belaruskaya station on train number 23, bound for Paris Gare de l'Est. This is a journey of around 37 and a half hours. We've just left on this Thursday evening. We arrive in Paris on Saturday morning at 9:40 a.m. It's a journey of 2 nights, with tomorrow, Friday, crossing through Poland and Germany. I'm struck by the modernity. It's a very modern, clean, comfortable train. German rolling stock from Siemens, and one of the interesting features of this service will be a gauge change, where the entire train is jacked up to allow the wheel sets to be changed from Russian broad gauge to the European standard gauge. It's going to be a great trip. Looking forward to this. It's my penultimate train trip as part of my circumnavigation. So it's Moscow bound for Paris. morning from the Moscow-Paris express train. It's day 3, or the morning of day 3 of the trip, and we are about 175 kilometers east of Paris, somewhere in the Champagne region. So we will be in Paris in around an hour and a half's time. Train running to time, more or less, I think. We lost a little bit of time crossing Poland, but somehow I think we've made that up now. And I can't believe it, I'm in France, which means next stop is the UK, and it means I'm that close now to completing my circumnavigation. I'll have a couple of hours, 4 hours in Paris. I'm determined to see 1 or 2 sites just to add to the collection, as if I haven't seen enough already, before it's time then to get the afternoon 2:13, 14:13 Eurostar non-stop to London St Pancras. Well, here I am at London St Pancras Station. I left London Heathrow 38 days ago. I have now circumnavigated the globe. It's quite an impressive feat, and I'm feeling very pleased with myself. So just one little short trip back to home before I really have actually done the full thing. But here we are, around the world, London to London in 38 days.